Okay, so I'm gonna try to make it quick to be doing a recap of my autobiography in English translated. I was raised in Florida. The first memories that I remember was in Florida as a kid, 3 years old to 8 years old. I went to school there, kindergarten, first grade, second grade. We lived in West Palm Beach, plantation at Lantana. We moved a couple times. We were in the boxes, and we lived in trailer park. There was a pool in our park. There's a lake with ducks, and uh, and then I watched my cartoons, my Saturday morning cartoons. I was interested in Aladdin, and my favorite movie was Aladdin, Back to the Future, the trilogy, and then Star Wars after that. Uh, and I just like the Disney cartoons. And we went to Walt Disney. We went to Epcot Center. We went to Universal Studios. So my parents did have my father worked a lot, so I never saw him. He usually was working when I got up in the morning, and he was still working when I went to sleep at night. Uh, there were some renovation happening in our house, and then extension, and then we lived through Hurricane Andrew in 1992. I was 7 years old, and we evacuated to a bigger house, but the damages were minimal. Uh, and I was Jehovah's Witness, and we went to a congregation over there, Francophone congregation. It was not such a big deal. Like it didn't take a lot of space because we were not very spiritual. We were more like sitting in the back and not really involved that much. But we did attend the meetings, and after it was pretty strict that I needed to be quiet and listen. And if I was not quiet enough, then I'd get disciplined. When I get home, I get spanked. Uh, I remember I was when I was sitting on a couch, I was always doing this to I don't know how to call that in English, but it's like doing this with my head to be, I don't know, even if the chair is not a rocking chair, I still do that on any chair. So my parents were annoyed and kind of worried that I was doing that. We had some visitors come in. My uncle, his family was came to visit. My grandparents came to visit. We had some friends from Saint George that came to visit, and somebody moved into our house. I remember the Nintendo starting to get popular during that time. One A girl that was staying at our house, she had a Super Nintendo or Nintendo. I think it was just Nintendo, and with Mario Brothers, and so we were playing that. We had a little initiation of that. We were collecting stickers. I remember trading some stickers with my brother. A lot of the stickers had to do with Mario and Captain N. I had stickers of Captain N, the TV show, which is a guy that goes into his video game console. So anyway, there's a lot of imagination going on there, and playing with my brother, my older brother. Then my little brother got born, and he was a baby, and so I was taking care of him. We had a porch, screen porch. We had a lamp to for flies, to burn the flies, and yeah, that's basically it. We were kind of living there for 5 years, a good 5 years, and then we came back to Quebec, which was a big transition for me because it was a lot colder. The culture was different. The language was different because I was in English. going to school in English, and then I got immersed into Francophone culture, and people didn't like the English, and I had some prejudice with that because they're thinking, "Oh, you're just one of those immigrants that are coming to steal our jobs." So, but I was always better in English than anybody else at my school. Usually, people at my school they start doing English class when in fourth grade, and I started there when I was in third grade. Uh, and it's just I didn't really have any friends, and then got bullied, I got pushed around, and finally, eventually made some friends in fifth grade, in sixth grade, and and what can I say about that? Learning French, so learning how to read French, how to write French, how to understand French, uh, how to spell, and mathematics, all those subjects that you learn in school, and then and and playground stuff, and going to skate, ice skating, going to the pool, and then finally moved to. Well, I'm kind of going fast here, but I went to high school after that when I was like 12, and well, high school was there's a little bit of bullying, but less, I guess. It was kind of less bullying, but some people knew that I was Jehovah's Witness, but they didn't really care about it. They thought it was cool. I was trying to preach to them. I remember, at least at the end of high school, I was really intensely preaching because that's what my parents were pushing me to do because they're saying, well, you can't hang out with your school friends anymore. Uh, in the meantime, well, we moved. We were always in boxes and moving from place to place, and we lived in a few places, and then my father constructed his house in near my grandparents' house and near in the street that I lived for the longest. I was living in a basement. It was a two floor house. It was pretty luxurious. A big space. We had a pool that never we never used. We had a sandbox. We had a minivan for the family. My father had a company. He was working in window installation, and from what I hear, he was not making a lot of money with that, and got exploited by his boss. Um, that's what I understand. And we were Jehovah's Witness also. Then we are going to our meetings, going for Bible studies. We had the Bible study at our house. We had the Bible study at my grandparents' house in the basement, and in various different houses that we went. And learning about the prophecies of the Bible and the end of time, and that we were in the end of time, etc. And not allowed to really make any friends or date in school. So I was kind of an oddball there. I wasn't fitting in with the people. I was more serious than you could say the average person that was in school. I was no, I had a sense of humor, but uh, I wasn't. Well, I remember one time in high school that I was in the beginning of high school. We went out to do fires under a bridge with my friends, and probably one of the most humiliating times was we found a dead rat, and I brought it in front of. We were playing around with it, and then I brought it in front of the house because we were like doing like stupid stuff, and then just brought the dead rat because it's like a challenge. Oh, I bet you can't do it. So I brought the dead rat in front of the house of the one of my friends, and his father opened the door, and then he saw me there, and then I kind of stepped back, and he said, "No, don't pick your the thing that you brought here and take that away." And I felt so bad about that. And yeah, other than that, we were just at the break time. I went to my uncle's house. It was a walking distance from school. But I was buying bag of chips, like Ruffles, all dress or barbecue. My brother was there also in the beginning, so we took the bus together. He was more social than me. I was more withdrawn and silent, and in the back, unnoticed. He was more social butterfly, had more friends, was cooler, uh, had better grades. I was jealous of him. And he was taking care of the computer lab in secondary 5. There were no Jehovah's Witnesses in our school, but there was a family that moved in, and there was this girl that I had a crush on. I thought she was cute, and I knew I could date her because she's Jehovah's Witness, and she went to our school. She was in the same class as me in a class where it's like it's not the religious class because I wasn't allowed to go to the religious class, so we went to this other class, and so she was there in that class, and I remember kind of following her and trying to meet her in the hallway and maybe talk to her, but I never really got anywhere. And then yeah, high school, you just do your classes there, which I had a good time in high school. I actually liked it. Only that I had to refuse going out with any girls because I wasn't allowed because of the Jehovah's Witnesses. But I enjoyed the music class. I was on the art class. I was in the. We did some cooking. We did couture, sewing boxers. We did physical education, uh, and there's like performance at the end of the year. Uh, I wasn't allowed to be a part of that either. And when I graduated, I wasn't allowed to go to the graduation either. I was kind of taken away from that year, so I didn't never finished my secondary 5 because my father invited me in construction. So this is really when I was joining the Jehovah's Witnesses, uh, because that's what they ask. The Jehovah's Witnesses are insisting that their followers do construction. So I didn't really have really any say in it. It was just I was dragged into it, and there was deception involved, and there's really no way for me to refuse. Maybe if I would have been more assertive, but at the time I didn't want any help. I thought I was fine, and I didn't need. But maybe if I had reached out to counselors or things, then maybe things would have happened differently. But I do think that this was the biggest mistake that I've done in my life, to get involved in that. And that lasted for 6 years. I got baptized when I was 18. There was this girl also in the congregation. During secondary 5, I went out with service. Like, I'm skipping a big part right now, the part that I was in school. Maybe I'll talk about this later on, but there's a lot of detail there that I can talk about. Uh, but secondary 5, I was on Thursdays. I would go to because I don't know how long I have on the recording before this stops. So in secondary 5, my brother and I were going out preaching on Thursdays evening with two sisters of the congregation about our age. One of the sisters knew the friend of the girlfriend of my brother, my best friend. And so we were just going out in service there. We're listening to music in the car. We're listening to the Goo Goo Dolls album, and it was just a good time. I was just sitting there. I wasn't talking like I usually when I was with my brother. I was just accompanying him. My brother had a few friends in the Jehovah's Witnesses, so I was accompanying him there at the Kingdom Hall. My mother was constantly telling me, "You need to make friends in the Kingdom Hall," because usually going I was usually going to the car after the meeting, right after, and I was playing with my little brother, doing drawings or playing games in the car and having fun and just laughing. But I was standing for when I was a teenager. I was standing next to my brother and listening to the conversation he was having, trying to fit in, trying to have make friends with his friends, and didn't never really worked. And there's this attractive young girl, 16 years old or 14 years old, something like that, that I kind of was interested in. I knew she was interested in my older brother, and eventually